let's head into the quadratic formula. Do you want to see the quickest derivation ever? Right, well, hopefully you said yes, right? So let's say we're given a quadratic equation. So, like by way of example, you get something like 3x squared minus 2x plus 7 equals 0. So whatever's in front of the x squared, we normally write with an a. Whatever's in front of the x, we're going to call b, and whatever the constant is c. Cool. So we're going to do a whole lot of magic, and then we're going to get x equals minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, everything over 2a. That wasn't really a derivation, was it? Just like I gave you the formula. And I did just give you the formula, because we don't need to go through the derivation. It's mathematically fascinating, but I think yesterday we had a bit of fun with our squares, so let's leave it at that. Let's just apply it. 2x squared minus 3x equals 4. It's a quadratic equation, and we had it in this format. So look at this. What do we need to do to this equation first before we apply our formula? You might be like, I still don't know. What are we doing? So we're going 2x squared minus 3x minus 4 equals 0. We want to make sure it equals 0. Always going to equal 0 so we can use our quadratic formula. Now we use our formula. So for now, I think it's worthwhile writing it as it stands. X equals, it's a fraction, minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, everything over 2a. Now we're going to substitute our values in. Minus, b is negative 3, so minus 3. Plus or minus the square root of b squared. B is negative 3, so we're going negative 3 squared minus 4. A is 2. C is negative 4. Negative 4. Everything divided by 2. A is 2. 2. Okay, so what we did with our formula was where we saw, not from that one, from here, we saw the value of A. So whenever we saw an A in our formula, we substituted in A. Whenever we see B is negative 3. So wherever we see a B, we put negative 3. We saw a B, we put negative 3. And finally, when we see C, negative 4, there's C, we put in negative 4. So we're just substituting into the formula, into the equation, or formula. And then from there, we merrily get our calculator out, and we punch that whole mess in. So there are going to be two solutions. Doesn't matter what order you do it in. So we're going to take our calculator. It's a fraction. Minus 3. You know what? I'm just going to put it in exactly like this. Minus 3. Plus or minus. Let's put a plus to start with. The square root. Minus 3 squared. Minus 3 squared. Minus 4. Minus 4 times 2 times negative 4. And 2 times 2 on the denominator. 2 times 2 equals 3 plus root 41 over 4. Let's just put it as a decimal for now. 2,35. 2,35. Or, do you see we had a plus or a minus? See that? Let's do the same thing, but instead of having the plus over here, let's go and change that plus to a minus, and we'll get our second solution. Minus equals s to d, to write it as a decimal, minus 0,85. Minus 0,85. Simple as that. Second example to hit it home. X squared minus 5x plus 6 equals 0. If you didn't have the quadratic formula at your disposal, how would you solve this? Well, with a bit of luck, you would have said, that's fine, I would just have factorized. Equals 0. X, oh, isn't this just minus 3 minus 2? X equals 3 or x equals 2. Spot on, great stuff. If you see that quadratic equation, I would expect you to factorize it like that. So we're good. But now we've got the quadratic formula and we're just going to reach for it. So we're going to say x equals minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac. Everything over 2a. Cool. Wherever we see a b, we're going to put negative 5. Exactly. So that negative 5 we're going to put in whenever we see a b. So x equals, there's a fraction, negative. The value of b was negative 5. So we're going to put negative 5 in there. Plus or minus the square root of b squared. Well, b was negative 5. Minus 4. And we're still going to get to AC. 2. Okay, so we're still going to do a. Let's do a next. So if we see a, well, what is the value of a? Well, it's 1x squared, right? So a is 1. So whenever we see this a, we're going to put 1. There's a. We're going to put 1. And we've got c left. So c is positive 6. So there's where c appears in our formula. So we're going to put positive 6. Okay. Punch it into your calculator. And what two answers do you get? Well, let's put it in. Calculator up. Let's move our calculator up here and punch it all in. Oh, that's cool. So we've got our fraction. Minus 5. Plus or minus. Let's start with the plus. Doesn't matter which one you start with. Square root. Minus 5 squared. Minus 5 squared. Squared. Minus 4 times 1 times 6. Denominator. 2 times 1. Just to confirm, now that you've seen this, maybe you said in the previous one, what do you get when you put all that in? 3. So in other words, one of our solutions is x equals 3. Is this a huge surprise? Okay. Right? Okay, let's look at our second solution. Now, don't clear this whole thing and start again. All we want to change is this plus. We want to change to a minus. So I'm going to press the button to get back there and go minus. What do you think our answer should be? Our second solution. What do you think our second solution should be? Well, it should be 2. Yes. Because there are two solutions. We worked this out. So, or x equals 2. I mean, we should get the same two answers. It doesn't matter which method we do to get there. We should get the same two answers. So, quadratic formulas, great. Because you don't have to think about it. You've got A, B, C. You plug it into the formula and you're there. But, word of warning. If it's a nice quadratic equation like this, we can factorize it quickly and easily. Probably takes longer to put it into the formula. But if you're struggling with your factorization, put it into the formula and you get your two answers. And in fact, this can help you with your factorizing as well. So that's that for now. Hopefully it's a little bit easier. Oh no, I think we had one more. Okay, let's do it. So x squared minus 6x plus 9. Again, you could factorize it, but let's do it quickly here. I'm just going to do it quickly. X equals minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, everything over 2a. Quite quick actually when you start getting into it. Cool, so we put this into our calculator and we're like, Well, this is easy. We're like, fraction, minus 6. I already know that's positive 6. I'm going to save myself some hassle. Plus the square root of minus 6 squared, I know it's 36. I'd actually change my mind and say, you know what? Just punch it in case you make a mistake. Minus 4 times 1 times 9. Minus 4 times 1 times 9. Everything over 2 times 1. You know what? I've lost my brain and I didn't realize that was 2. Okay, equals 3. Cool. So x equals 3. Or, now we're going to do the same thing. And we're going to change this plus here. And we're going to change that to a minus. What's the other answer you get? Okay, so you've got another answer. The next question is going to be, how are we going to interpret this answer? 3. So what, x equals 3 or x equals 3, but they're the same. So what's going on here? Nice question, eh? X squared minus 6x plus 9 equals 0. Do you remember at the beginning of the term I said draw parabolas? And we needed to draw our two solutions. So in this one, we would have gone, here it is. It was a happy parabola. And we had our two answers, 2 and 3. Let's do the same here. Let's just do that pause. Okay. We draw our thing. What would our parabola look like if we drew it now? Still a happy parabola, but it only touches once at 3. It's a good way to end it. Exercise 2.7, go for it, ACE and OP. Let's not cover it up so you don't miss out that fun. Enjoy.